UK services, Lamarzi and Who1.co.uk present the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 534. I'm Adam, and I nearly thought of a quote, but I thought, nah, sod it. And here's Ben Shoveler.
I've got floppy hair. Look at me. I like fish fingers.
Fish fingers and custard, Ben. Fish fingers. Get your.
I didn't get that far.
Get your recipes right.
Fingers. I'd stopped by the time he got them in custard.
Yeah. And Caitlin Blackwood. Very slowly.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Blackwood, and you're listening to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Yeah, do it a bit quicker next time, Caitlin.
I thought you were surprising us.
Kirby, Bartlett, sorry, I might have pronounced that wrong. Kirby, Bartley, Sloan. Oh,
delete your internet history.
Okay. Robert Haynes.
Prisoner Zero will vacate the human residence, or the human residence will be incinerated.
And Larry Mang.
Larry Mang? That sounds like something you gotta go to the doctor's for.
Shut up, she's doing a quote.
I'm the doctor. Do everything I tell you. Don't ask stupid questions and don't wander off.
Yesterday we're embarking on the Matt Smith and Moffat eras both at the same time.
Yay!
Clever of us. It's multitasking. And we begin with a story called The 11th Hour, which I have a funny feeling is going to be a bit of a Marmite situation. So that'll be intriguing, won't it? It'll also be intriguing.
Put it on toast.
Marmite.
It'll all be quite intriguing. Bear in mind this episode's 1 hour and 5 minutes long, not the podcast, the episode we're reviewing. If we can actually get through it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, we could probably do this in 5 minutes. It's wonderful.
Adam, I've got to be somewhere on Thursday, so if we can be finished by then, that would be good.
Funny, I have other things to do. Anyway, right, so the episode begins with a shot of the moon, and it pans to Earth, and we sort of almost like fly into Earth's atmosphere, picking up the TARDIS in sort of mid sort of crashing, and the Doctor hanging out of the door. I would have created some sort of corridor to stop me from falling. While it sort of flies around East London, he has a sonic screwdriver in his mouth, and he's groaning and screaming and whatever. And it sort of, for comedy effect, flies over the clock of the Houses of Parliament tower thingy, narrowly missing his genitalia. But he's just regenerated, so if they had been knocked off, he could have grown them back again.
Testicles didn't drop yet, though.
I beg your pardon?
We assume.
Yes, thank you for that, Robert. A little bit too much detail for me. Anyway, so the TARDIS continues to crash in dramatic fashion, and they rather cleverly merge it into the new title sequence, which starts off, of course, with a crack of lightning that doesn't look dissimilar to the aforementioned and to be certainly mentioned more crack. I'm talking of... of course, it's quite exciting, actually, when you see the title sequence and the names Matt Smith and Karen Gillan. I love Karen Gillan, flashing up on their titles. So anyway... The next shot is of a little girl, a little ginger-haired girl, very cute Scottish lady. Now she's a little girl.
That was
praying to Santa for some reason.
Why not?
I feel it's really strange because this girl does appear to be really, really on her own. I mean, there's implication that there are people in the house, but I'm sure they would have heard the TARDIS crashing into the garden and hissing and stuff, and they would have heard a strange man downstairs and with her cooking and stuff like that. But I get the feeling that she's actually, I think she mentions relatives, on her own. I find that quite disturbing. Anyway, she goes.
The aunt was out.
Master.
Yes.
There's an explanation for that. The crack has already taken...
Oh, yes, I remember that one. Sorry, Kirby, I'm going to give you a ding for that, because I had forgotten that. I do remember that sort of that mention. Yes, sorry about that. Anyway, so she goes out into the garden to investigate, and the Doctor, the TARDIS is on its side and with its door upwards, and the Doctor has climbed up a rope to get out of it and got covered in water because the swimming pool's in the library and all these sort of things. And he's acting a bit goofy, which is I quite enjoy. He's wearing a slightly damaged 10th Doctor shirt and tie. I love that tie. I have that tie. I may mention it before. I may mention it again because it's a cool tie. Anyway, right. My thing just jumped backwards. Anyway, so he's sort of saying he's hungry, so he goes into the house and tries various foods. Now, Kirby, I'm going to give you this opportunity until we get to fish finger custard. The foods that he tries. I do believe when we used to do a quiz that we it was a point for each item of food that the Doctor tries and doesn't like.
What? You want me to name them all? Besides
if you
the
can,
apple?
off the top of your head, without doing any research.
Without looking.
I haven't. No, I have not done that. Okay, so there's the apple. There's bacon.
Yeah.
There's yogurt. Little bits.
No, there was yogurt. I'm pretty sure there wasn't any yogurt there. Yogurt, I remember.
I think it might have been some yogurt.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Beans. It was supposed to be me, remember? Bread and butter.
Yeah, cool. I forgot to mention the people on the live feed. Terry Marr says, "Good evening, everybody." I'm sure that song went, "Merry Christmas, everybody." Oh no, that was Slade, wasn't it? And that deserves a particular jingle because Jim Drury says, "Has Adam had his fish fingers in custard for dinner?" I, at the time, did feel as if I should, because every Doctor Who fan was try it, but then realised it was a bit silly, so didn't.
You got as far as thinking about trying it.
Yeah, I got that far. Because
that's too far.
Yes, I thought, well, if I had enough to drink, it wouldn't really matter. I do like custard, I have to say. I do like fish fingers. You know, I think if I had the closest I could get to it is eating fish fingers for dinner and then having custard for pudding. That's almost the same, isn't it?
No.
But he didn't have fish fingers anyway.
It is to your stomach, I suppose.
Yes, exactly.
You got to cover your fish fingers with custard. You got to eat them together. It's like people eat their French fries dipped in milkshakes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Chips dipped in curry. That's a nice one, isn't it, Ben?
No,
curry and
chips dipped in ketchup.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Or in gravy if you're up north.
Yeah, gravy.
Gravy.
At that point, we should say happy birthday to Billy Kirk
Billy.
Pratt, whose birthday. It's birthday. It's okay. It's his birthday.
Okay. Great stuff.
Love that.
It's also, I should also point out at this point, it's my mother's birthday too.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Shoveler.
She's not very well, though.
Oh, I hope you get well soon, Mrs. Shoveler. And
Can I just say,
no.
you guys are late because it's now tomorrow and Billy's birthday was yesterday.
What's that?
Well,
that wasn't too bad, Robert.
Happy birthday for yesterday, Bill.
That wasn't too bad. By the way, at work today, I was listening to episode 509, which is that hilarious episode in which Kirby does try to make a fist of doing the Billy Kurt Bright impression. And later on in the episode, which was hilarious, by the way, later on in the episode, I have a Kirk Bright off between Mary and Kirby. Podcasting gold, that was.
And the other day, you were listening to something and complaining because we were.
The interruptions were ridiculous. It's like I might as well have just skipped through the 30-second thing for a bit. Actually, I did try it. 2 minutes worth of 30 seconds. It was you. It's still interrupting and talking about the same bloody. Anyway, back to Doctor Who.
Master.
Christ's sake.
There are points to be made at times.
Yes, there are. Not necessarily good points, but yes.
I don't know if you've been looking at Facebook.
Yeah, what?
I have proven that it's not an attic space. It is bedrooms, even though it's got a flat door getting up into it because it used to be servants' quarters. And the room that the Sonic goes into, well, that's a set, obviously, when they filmed inside the room, but that's actually a bathroom.
Splendid. Thank you for that, Kirby. Lillian Robbins says, Facebook keeps crashing on my phone. Had to change to my computer. And then she says, I have a quote. I'm in my 90. Well, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest, Lillian. Anyway, right, so we're back to Doctor Who. So, yes, the Doctor is making friends with little Amelia, and who is a little iconic sort of nighty and red Cardia. I've got actually a figure of her that I got from the old defunct Doctor Who. What was that thing they used to do in the Olympia, and then it moved to Cardiff? The Doctor Who Experience, was it?
Experience?
Yeah. I've got the figure that you could only get at the Doctor Experience of her with a little briefcase, suitcase thingy. Well, you know, when she sat outside waiting for the Doctor, for God knows. I mean, it's
do I need to point out that that's not fish fingers?
No, you don't. Honestly, you do
before.
not have to point that out at all, so don't. Right then, so so the Doctor has noticed that she did mention the crack in the wall. Just get some filler and a little spatula blade thingy and fill it up. I'm banging on about this blimmin' crack. It's easily fixed, isn't it, Ben?
But she hears
Absolutely.
So
I mean, really, for parts and labour, I think probably a parts, you could get a nice bag of filler big enough for that for a tenner. If you don't own a blade already, which you should do if you're any maintenance person of any kind of sort at all.
And even if you're not, and I'm terrible at DIY, yet I have filled cracks with it. I can actually take a picture of it.
My suggestion would be...
I have a crack in my wall. Look, hang on, just take a picture of it.
to mix the filler to the same consistency as you would icing sugar. That way it goes in nicely. Let it dry off properly though. Don't try and get the sandpaper on it too quickly. Otherwise you just pull it all out again. So that would be the advice of the 20 megabyte.
Master.
Yes. I shall allow these because I'm trying to post
in the real estate pictures online, they appear to have fixed the crack.
Oh. Right, I'm just posting a picture to the 20 megabyte page of the crack in my actual wall to my right here. Back to Doctor Who anyway. So the Doctor examines this crack and throws water out, from Amelia's cup so he can listen to what's going on the other side, and he hears voices, as of course Amelia did. Prisoner Zero, blah, blah,
the radiator's missing.
What?
They removed the radiator from under the window in the hall.
What the hell? So? It's probably what caused the crack. Anyway, the TARDIS starts making funny noises. So basically, cloister bell goes blowing. What? So the Doctor rushes back to jump in. I would have thought he would have to climb down this little rope, and he promises Amelia that he will be back very shortly. I can't remember now. Was it 5 minutes?
First he stops and ties the rope to something, and then he climbs the rope down.
Yeah. Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so he promised.
He jumps, and as he jumps, he pulls the rope, which closes the doors, and you notice the doors are opening out rather than their normal in.
Okay, I didn't notice that. But anyway, he promises Amelia that he'll be back. How long?
5 minutes.
2 days.
Yeah. Anyway, so he does eventually come back, but the TARDIS is still smouldering and smoking. And the next scene, we finally move away from the house. We meet Rory for the first time in his role as a nurse with a red and blue pen in his pocket, and that woman who's in EastEnders. I can't remember her name. Nadia, somebody or other. I can't remember.
Was.
Right, she's iconic British actor from and comedy actress from Goodness Gracious Me, and she's very good.
Completely, Master.
Jesus Christ, what?
You skipped the Doctor running into the house and getting smacked by the cricket bat.
Oh, only because you put me off. Okay, the Doctor runs into the house because he's trying to find Amelia, and he gets smacked over the head with a cricket bat. But he's still regenerating, so won't do any damage. Anyway, meanwhile, in the hospital, all the patients, or Rory has pointed out, that all the patients who are supposed to be comatose for one reason or another, are calling out Doctor, and he thinks they're referring to this Doctor, Dr. Grumpy, whatever her name is.
Master?
No, Doctor.
I was watching the full-length Confidential, which I hadn't seen in years, and Moffat points out that with Rory's character, he's been Amy's friend since they were children, but he's always the substitute doctor, and he's trying to be the doctor, but even in real life, Rory only makes it to be a nurse and not a doctor.
Joy. Never going to get that 5 minutes back, am I? Meanwhile, among the patients are a Oscar-winning actress. Now, Isabella said, yeah, she is an Oscar-winning actress, but she got an Oscar for the film she didn't deserve to get the Oscar for, and didn't get an Oscar for a film she did to deserve the Oscar for. But I don't know what film she was referring to in regards to the one she did deserve to get the Oscar for. So the next scene, back in the house, the Doctor wakes up to what it really is a dreamy sight of Karen Gillan in a police woman's kissogram outfit. Great start for Karen there. And some great camera angles as well. And her eyes are just captivating. I had to keep on going back because her eyes were so captivating. Beautifully shot. And the thing about Karen Gillan, I know some of the other companions, not necessarily because she's pretty, she's got incredible screen presence, and she was straight into this likeable, enjoyable, bubbly companion, which I adored right the way from beginning to finish.
Except for one thing.
Oh, here we go. What? When she dyed her hair to a darker red? What are you on about?
No,
what?
The way it's written, how it's like when Rory's saying, "Don't look at the Doctor undressing."
Yeah, I know that was a bit silly, but that's
things like
and
that.
it was fairly
even
inconsistent.
Like running away on a wedding.
Yeah, I know, but it was fairly inconsistent with. Hang on a sec, actually, Robert.
Makes me hate the character.
No. What? I'm sorry. I'm gonna slightly disagree with you here on this one, because my beautiful wife, who quite naturally would not avert her eyes from me in any way, state. How'd you say? Any way. I'll just say in any way, because I couldn't remember what the phrase was supposed to be. Of course, she'd never look at some bloke who'd just taken his shirt off and is just wearing a vest or anything. Would she? No, not at the Isle of Wight Festival when Tom Grennan decided to take his shirt off. Oh, no, she wasn't thrilled to bits at all. This muscular young man was strutting his stuff on the stage. So I'm sorry. I think Karen Gillan, or any woman in Amy's situation, would probably have a bit of a peak, shall we say. So I haven't got a problem with that. Anyway, she's not at this stage that loved up with Rory anyway. It's just a free eyeful, basically, isn't it? And we haven't got to that bit yet anyway, Robert, so what are you doing? So the Doctor is being imprisoned by being sort of handcuffed to a radiator, and
which isn't there.
Whatever, and he is trying to make Amy see a room that she can't see, and then she does see it. She goes in it. What?
They've remodeled that floor. There's a. So I was wrong in my post. There's actually 2 bathrooms back there.
Oh,
both of those doors at the very back of that hall are 2 bathrooms.
Welcome to the 20 Megabyte Real Estate Podcast.
Never mind.
Kirby's trying his hardest.
How much do you think that would knock on the
You know he's going to ignore us. Maybe you will go for a wee. Anyway, so Amy, it's beautiful. I love the lighting of this particular scene. Amy sort of there, looking all beautifully lit, and everything else all dingy in this sort of slight sort of misty haze coming through the window. Anyway, the sonic screwdriver is on a box all covered in some weird slime. How did it get there? Anyway, so she picked it up, and and I think. Isabella was catching a glimpse of this scene. Whereas this in HD, the poorly rendered CGI Prisoner Zero does look particularly bad in this scene, but I'll forgive it, because there's been worse looking monsters than Doctor Who, and it does say, don't look at it, don't look at it.
Bothers me.
And she does look at it, obviously, because that was bound to happen. And then it changes into the bloke with the dog amalgamation. Thing, which is one of the comatose patients in hospital, and when it opens its mouth, it's got these weird sort of creepy teeth, which are so long that it actually just looks like he's chewing gum, and it's just like stuck to his teeth.
It's got stuck on his teeth. I think
they made the teeth a slight bit too long. And then the Doctor uses a sonic to free himself, and they lug it out of the house, and he goes back to the TARDIS. The TARDIS won't let him in, and they go off into the town, meet a sort of stunt-casted, what they call it, ice cream bloke who's been in loads of comedies and British TV, I believe. Haven't seen him recently though. And then they bump into Victor Meldrew's wife, who's, I think, is she like a relative of Amy's or a neighbour or something like that?
If she knows them very well, so I think probably just a close.
What, Master? What it is? She's friends with Jeff.
Yes,
And
Luther from Umbrella Academy. You mean?
Jeff? You mean Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff is
Luther from Umbrella Academy. Yes.
It's his grandmother.
Oh, she's friends with Jeff, who's got the dodgy internet history. That's the one, yeah.
Right.
Right. Terry Miles says, "Oh no, not Adam's crack." And then Lillian Robbins said, "I do identify with Amy's pulling down on her miniskirt several times. Been there, done that." Wow, there's an answer to that, Lillian. Wear a longer one.
I haven't.
Right then. So there's the doctor sort of it wants to watch telly or communicate with some experts. I don't know. I'm just going to move forward a bit. And when he switches on the telly, you see this, which is a sort of the iconic thing of this story, this eyeball thing, just sort of looking at them through the old telly.
Yeah.
And then Luther from Umbrella Academy sort of just wanders into them. Doesn't say much in this episode. He was also in Merlin, funny enough. He played
Yes, he was in Merlin.
What?
He was in Merlin.
I just said that. But he's better known as Luther from the Umbrella Academy.
Never seen Merlin.
I've never seen the Umbrella Academy, so...
Well, you should do. It's brilliant. So anyway,
season 3's out
we see
now.
then a shot from space of lots of these sort of spaceships that look a little bit like snowflakes, but giant ones. The Doctor and Amy.
Big eyeballs and stuff.
Snowflakes.
Wander around this village, and they come to a duck pond. Now, I thought that she was going to duck at this point when I first saw that, because obviously her name is Pond, and it's a duck pond.
Ha ha ha.
And then at some point, Amy, of course, they block out the sun because they're going to burn the Earth, the Atraxi. I forgot to mention the Atraxi, didn't I? Because they're the prisoners. They are the prison guards who are supposed to be looking after Prisoner Zero. Yes, Kirby.
Moffat did say within the last year or two why there are no ducks in the duck pond, and he actually had written a scene to show the ducks coming back. Again, they were sucked through the crack. And they were going to actually film a scene at the end of the series. At the end of the series,
it's a children's TV show,
but it was raining too much.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Kirby. Yes, lovely.
Also, the ice cream vendor was in You Rang, My Lord.
Joy, right, thank you for that. Anyway, this thing that's blotting out the sun, all the people, like we do now, start taking pictures of it with their phones and stuff. And then the Doctor starts seeing things with a sort of weird eye where it all zooms around where people are, and he's trying to look at the finer details, but he didn't quite capture the final.
The Doctor does make a very good comment when he says, this is how it is. This is how the end of the world will be through people's video phones.
Yes, he does say that. It's very good.
Yeah.
But
it's true.
What he didn't see coming was Amy trapping him in a car door. The door, funny enough, the car was actually owned by that bloke from one of those old, what's the name, Troughton stories, the one, Dulcie...
Arthur Cox.
The one with the Crotons in it. Oh, yeah, the Crotons. What did you say?
It's not from Crotons, it's from the Dominators.
Oh, yeah, the one, not Crotons, the one with Dominators in it. Yes, the Dominators, that's what I meant. Similar sort of time. It's the same series. So, anyway.
Master?
No, it wasn't the Master. He played...
I did the research earlier today because 9 years ago, we were trying to think about how long it was between his first story and this story. And also, I couldn't remember that the other person that we had recently talked about, who was also had this big gap between stories, was Pauline Collins. Yeah. Well, Pauline Collins, it was 39 years and 14 days between Faceless Ones and Tooth and Claw. Yeah. For Arthur Cox, it was 41 years, 7 months, and 24 days.
24 days.
Between the Dominators and the 11th Hour.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It feels like that long between the time in which we started this episode and got to 33 minutes in. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, the doctor had, Amy had this, Amelia had this apple with a face drawn it by her mum, and the doctor took it away with him and then brought it back to show her that it's really him and he's real. And what I liked about that scene is the lens flare. When she realises there's a beautiful lens flare that goes across the screen. It's very nicely done.
It also goes into slow motion for a couple
Yes, I like that. It's very atmospheric. Anyway, so so the things are set in motion, and the Doctor sort of uses his sonic to sort of do a few bits and bobs before it gets destroyed by the aliens. And
I don't think the aliens destroyed it. It's more that it's had enough because of
I think that was a zap of lightning destroyed it, Robert. Doctor, meanwhile, goes and sees Jeff, who's looking at some inappropriate stuff on his computer. And of course, this is when we get to see the wonderful cameo by Patrick Morse. So grateful that they managed to get him on the show before he passed away. And he sort of set. Pardon?
What?
Oh, I thought you said something. He set. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, he set Jeff to save the world by doing stuff on the computer, whatever. Then requisitions a fire engine. Meanwhile, oh Jesus, bloody cross! He got through 2.5 minutes of it then.
We were discussing last week with the David Tennant's falling and not dying, and the radio telescope, and it wasn't Jodrell Bank. Well, in this particular episode, they do reference Jodrell Bank.
Okay. Where do we get up to?
That was really worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, so meanwhile, Oscar-winning actress, whose name I forget at the moment, is amalgamated
Olivia
with
Colman.
That's the one. With these two little girls, her children. Well, the real woman who Olivia Colman's playing as children, and does this sort of sinister scene.
Yeah, but it's not her children either because it's.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. So that's Prisoner Zero, and then it changes into because it decided it doesn't like that particular form.
Who the man?
Beg your pardon? Who the man? Oh, no. Changes into isn't the Doctor and Amelia, little Amelia? Yeah, it does. So that's the first time. That's the earliest the Doctor has ever been doppelgangered in Doctor Who. I do love, actually, I have to say...
Later to be gangered as well.
Pardon?
Later to be gangered.
That's very good. Anyway, I was going to say, I do like...
But he looked exactly like Salamander back in the second Doctor.
Yeah, but that was not in his first episode, was it? I'm talking about this is in his first episode. He's doppelgangered. Anyway, what I have to commend her, Caitlin Blackwood, friend of the show, for that scene when she comes around the back of the doppelganger Doctor as the Prisoner Zero, Amelia. Her facial expressions were bang on. Great direction and
she was wonderful.
Beautifully sinister. And I hadn't noticed that before, that she actually has the potential to be a very good actress, but we haven't seen her since, apart from a couple of conventions here and there. Yeah, because Amy's been knocked out, hasn't she? The Doctor then decides, because he has saved the world at this point, the Traxia sort of on their way, and so they're all... What?
In 2020, she appeared in the romantic comedy film Lost at Christmas, which also featured Sylvester McCoy and Fraser Hines.
Okay. Where'd I get up to?
I'll have to find that one.
So, so the Traxia decide they've got Prisoner Zeros, they're on their way. But so the Doctor decides he's going to call them back and tell them off. Rory doesn't like this plan at all. I don't really blame him, but the Doctor wants to just say, right, okay, bugger off and don't come back again. So he calls them back, but in the process of doing that, he wants to change into some clothes that are a bit more fitting for the 11th Doctor, which is what he does. And of course, we have that great, at the time, I thought it was really exciting, where they showed the images, all the previous Doctors, through this fuzzy
I love
thing.
that.
And then it's the 10th Doctor, and he walks through the 10th Doctor as the 11th Doctor. And yeah, it's a beautifully sort of arranged set of scenes. And then the TARDIS comes back because he tells them not to come
every time they show that scene, I can't help but in my brain to go 1, 2, 3.
Well, you're the only one that does that, but well done anyway. Yeah. What about the War Doctor? What about they're moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the TARDIS comes.
children.
The TARDIS. The new TARDIS appears, and the Doctor jumps in it and says, "Ooh, you sexy thing," and off he goes. And of course, just at that time, Amy sees it,
I was going to use that quote as well. But...
and she sort of there flashes back to her child self and looks like the child Amelia is looking up in the sky. Then we cut to Amy in bed, who hears the TARDIS come back, and of course that's so she is persuaded to go off with the Doctor in the brand new TARDIS.
Well, with
2 years too late.
Right before the wedding.
Yeah, we don't know that until we cut back to the scene in the bedroom, wasn't it? With the wedding dress.
I absolutely love this TARDIS. This
That's
interior
great.
of this TARDIS is one of my all-time favorites.
But what I like is the little
Agree
camera.
with you there, Kirby.
The camera pans through the bedroom of all the little handmade toys of the Doctor, the Raggedy Doctor and stuff. That was very, very nice. And that's basically it.
I love that he asks her, like when she says, can we be back by tomorrow? Why? What's happening tomorrow? And she goes, oh, stuff.
Yes.
And then we see that there's more than just stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, the 11th Hour. Now I've heard some. I'm just going to say what I think of it. I actually. It's a science fiction fantasy TV show. There are some things in it that you could say are a bit stupid, but for a first appearance of a Doctor episode, I don't think it's all that bad. I think that it's linked to the previous episode quite nicely with the TARDIS still crashing, and I don't know, how he's messing around, because I don't feel it should be that long before he realises at the end of Time Part 2 that it is crashing, because he does say so, and he's wearing the full suit, and in between then and how long has it been doing all this sort of somersault stuff, and he's got his jacket off, his shirt is half done, everything's torn and scuffed, and he's hanging out the TARDIS doors, hanging onto the edge and stuff like that. But I think
it was a good 8 months.
Was it? Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm sounding like Andy Nunney's asking questions like that, but no, I just. It's quite interesting, isn't it? You see these people like Olivia Colman, who obviously she was appearing in sketch shows more than doing dramatic roles at the time. So it was a bit of a cameo for her.
You were saying that she was mainly known to be a comedian 9 years ago,
and she still is a comedian. A lot of comedians are bloody good actors. I think they have to be, because they have to do a performance, almost like a dramatic performance when they're doing their stand-up. But
why is that surprising you?
What? Me?
Why is that surprising you? Yeah.
Nothing surprising.
Are they mutually exclusive? Are you an actor, serious actor, doesn't mean you can't be.
I never said that. It was Kirby said that. I said I said most comedians are really good actors. That's what I said. It's not surprising. But she's not a comedian. She's an actress who did comedy, like Karen Gillan did. In fact, Karen Gillan herself was in a comedy sketch show with Kevin somebody or other, Bishop, isn't it? Kevin Bishop, which is quite a link with John Bishop. I wonder if they're related. Yeah, she did, and she was very good in it too. If you look, it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
What was it called?
Pardon?
I went to school with someone called James Bishop. I wonder if they're related.
Could be. I once played chess, which had bishops in it.
Actually, I worked for someone called Keith Bishop.
I have a friend called Ben Bishop. He sadly passed away a few years ago, but
let me make a note of that. I'll just note it all down.
Where do I get up? So no, I'm just trying to say I really quite enjoy this as a first outing for a Doctor. I think Matt Smith's really good in it. He is slightly over the top, but they all tend to be a little bit over their top in their first episodes. Karen Gillan lights the screen up. Rory's good. Oh, somebody just dropped something.
No, I was just squeaking the chair.
I'm trying to fend off the oncoming storm of criticism that I know it's going to come from other people.
Why
are you assuming that?
Because I've got a funny feeling it's coming.
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoyed it. My hopes were quite high for the Moffat era after watching this episode. I know there's a few holes here and there, but it's Doctor Who. So I'm going to say I liked it, and it's one of the rare ones that I will go back and rewatch because of just Karen Gillan looks great and various other bits and bobs about it. So, okay, who should we start with? Robert, what did you think?
I'm pretty much with you. I reckon it's okay too. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I don't like is the doctor the companion fancying the doctor. I mean, it's because it's quite clear that Amy, and doesn't something else happen? I mean, later on about like the way
I never
she's
got that she
like,
fancied him. I got it so that she was sort of fascinated by him because he was so mysterious. I didn't get.
She tries to take him to bed in the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I
that's
haven't
what
seen.
mean,
Oh,
yeah.
spoilers! Thanks for that, Kirby.
That's the thing that I'm thinking of, and that's the kind of stuff which I reckon is a big misstep by Moffat.
But that doesn't last long. That side of things.
Yeah, which
So
I'm glad.
It's stamped out fairly quickly.
And since we do end up seeing how much she loves Rory, I can ignore that a little bit.
And Ben will be delighted, of course, because that love for but Ben will be delighted, of course, because that love for Rory will one day create the wonderful character of River Song. Sorry, carry on, Robert.
What was that?
Yeah. Apart from that, I think it's well acted. I mean, I like the business with Karen dressed in the police uniform, but pretending like she's speaking into the radio about pack up and all that rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved that kind of stuff. It was quite funny. But I think I got a lot more out of it watching it this time. And it is one you can just go back and rewatch. So yeah, very good. I mean, it just flew by virtually.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't realise it was as long as it was until I looked at the time code on
I think the
video
file.
Yeah,
because those initial scenes when he's with young Amelia, that takes up a good 15-20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't like the stupid business with hanging up the TARDIS. I mean, the special effects in that look a bit naff. But yeah, it's quite a good story though. Yeah, quite enjoyed it.
Thank you, Robert. Ben, what did you think?
Well, I started watching it. And I got about 15 minutes in, and I just got this overwhelming feeling of the crap that's to come, and I couldn't be bothered to finish watching it. So, from what I remember, I seem to think, I'm sure Kirby will correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to think I quite liked it the first time round, and like you, Adam, I seem to be quite optimistic about the oncoming series Et New Doctor. Unfortunately, that optimism turned out to be as well placed as backing Man United to win anything for the next 5 years. So, I got to the bit where Matt Smith was popping out the top of the TARDIS and playing silly devils, and at that point, I don't know, I might have been in a bad mood, I don't know, but at that point I just had enough. So I DNF'd on this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't correct you because you weren't on the last time that we discussed this one.
Yeah, see, that's what I said a couple of weeks ago. I stopped doing it because... and it was the same with this. I kind of started watching it. I was just like, I just don't enjoy it. It's just, and I've had a little bit of time. I could have watched it this week. I've been watching lots of stuff, which obviously we'll talk about later. Spoilers. But so I could have watched it. I just didn't want to. So there you go.
Thank you, Ben.
Fair enough.
Don't know what for. I mean, it was hardly the biggest science episode, was it? Some grumpy sod sitting here telling you didn't watch an episode of something we're talking about on the podcast. Brilliant.
Kirby, what did you think? Oh, okay, don't bother them.
What?
Kirby?
I didn't hear myself call.
Well, there's only you and Mary left, so logic dictates.
There was a noise. I absolutely love this one. This is one of my all-time favorite stories. It's the one that I will recommend if I'm trying to get someone to start watching Doctor Who.
Black Spot.
It is one that I can sit down and watch at any time. Have to watch it all the way through. As I was trying to figure out a quote, the whole darn script is just quotable. I have only one very, very small problem with it. What is Prisoner Zero hanging from?
Yeah, I looked at that. I did think that myself. Yeah.
I keep wondering
Yeah.
that.
It's like an upside down puppet, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my only problem with it. I mean,
I did notice that.
We don't. It was so optimistic that this was he's gonna be a good doctor. He was the doctor to me immediately.
Yeah. I don't think he ever not wasn't the doctor throughout his whole tenure.
Sometimes you have to wait an episode or two before they are the doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was the doctor immediately to me. I was really looking forward to this entire series. Too bad it disappointed me. And the coming soon trailer was great. Geek Daughter and I were just gushing over how intriguing things were looking. It's great, absolutely great. One of my all-time favorites.
I love the fact that you mentioned Geek Daughter. Now, I know there was always a thing about how she ended up being called Fred. I actually remembered the exact way. No, let me speak before you tell me off. Let me speak. This is how I remembered. It came back to me in a sort of gush of memory. It was, you had her on the show, and you called her by her name, and she said, "Don't call me by my name." I said, "Okay, we'll call you Fred then." "Yeah, Fred. I like Fred," and that's how it came about.
Yes. And to me, the whole Fred thing comes from Tom Baker and Romana too.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
But no, Fred, that's a different daughter.
I know. I'm just saying that's how I remembered exactly the wording, how that came about. I'll find the actual clip one day.
Here Fred is still in the house, as is youngest daughter, but Geek Daughter has moved out and is an engineer.
Oh,
wow.
Cool. So have you finished your review, by the way?
Going to spot you in your old age.
Okay. Talking of daughters and stuff, Isabella's finally finished her GCSEs and celebrated a bit by having a sleepover and catching COVID. So yeah, that's the way it goes.
COVID?
Right then. Of course, catching COVID is not exactly the most fatal thing at the moment, but it's still slightly annoying, especially as she's got a prom on Thursday. I hope apparently school kids can have 3 days, apparently, but she might have had it for a week. We don't know. We only tested her this morning, and it's quite faint. But, it's a bit of an inconvenience. Right then. So don't get too close to the speakers, just in case, I've got it, because I haven't tested myself, because I feel fine. I had it 3 months ago. Right, brace yourselves, everybody. Mary, I suppose Ben wants to do his special singy-songy introduction to add on to that, but it's Mary.
To tell us what she's watched this.
Oh, is that it? Oh, that was very brief. Oh, what happened there? Feedback. Oh, very good.
Literal feedback.
Real feedback. That's very appropriate, but not quite yet.
Oh, here's Mary Blitzlang with a... No, because I haven't got one for Mary.
I thought, what was that bit of tune you were just about to play then?
I've got Kirby's feedback and Mary Blitzlang's...
That's a bit at the end of the show, you mean?
Yeah.
I thought that you used to do a little song for Mary. Or you used to do a little... Mary Blitzlang. That sort of thing.
Don't need to now. I think you've
Go on in, Mary.
Okay. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Wow.
I knew she was going to say that.
This is in my top 5 episodes that I would recommend, a newbie to get hooked on Doctor Who. I think that this is one of those great introductions of a doctor. I think it's even better than the one that Tennant had.
Yeah, definitely.
The Doctor was in it more, for starters, wasn't he? Tennant's one, he wasn't hardly in it to the end.
It moves fast. It's chock full of stuff to pay attention to. You can watch it multiple times, and each time get something else out. I think Moffat really, did a fantastic job, both in the writing of it and in producing this. And it made me fall in love with Matt Smith as the doctor, like right from the beginning. So, yep, loved it, loved everything. And Karen Gillan, loved her right from the beginning. She was amazing. And I agree with you that, her eyes are amazing. When she walks in that TARDIS and looks around, she just is me. If I were in there around, that's exactly how I would feel, is what she was giving us with her eyes. The other thing that caught me, and it's not a complaint, it's just I wonder how they figured this out. The apple that has the little face carved on it, when she's little, she says her mom gave it to her, but she doesn't have a mother or father, that she's being, that she lives with her aunt, and then and that apple cut is actually pretty fresh. So it's like, so whatever she does,
it would have come brown.
It had to have happened that day, because that apple would be pretty withered and brown if it came from her mother. So that was,
unless, Mary, something strange happened in the TARDIS.
Well, Kirby's saying no
like
quite a lot.
River?
No. Amelia did that to the apple. She says, quote, "I used to hate apples, so my mom put faces on them." She does that for herself.
Oh, so her mother didn't do it.
Her mother didn't do that one. She did it, and then she hands it to him, and then he takes it 12 years later.
Now, where in there did you get that?
The script.
Does she say that she did it?
No, she says, quote, "I used to hate apples, so my mom put faces on them." But it's implied that.
Yeah, so
since she doesn't have I don't have a mom.
I thought she said that her mom did it. Okay.
Yes. Right. She says her mom
used to do it.
Puts faces on them.
Yeah. I thought she was saying she did it as well.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway,
I thought she said her mum did it. Okay.
What I forgot to mention, Mary, was the music in it, and that tune. That's such a catchy tune.
Yeah, Murray Gold's music is wonderful throughout this.
Yeah, I like the thing. I like the series 5.
Is that the bit that when he comes through the thing that that's a great bit of music. I love it.
That's
a lot of iconic tunes.
The 11th thing.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, so that bit we managed to negotiate that bit quite well. Could have been done a bit quicker, but not too bad. So that means we can now move. Oh, I think what's his name? Oh, Ben may have a piece of music to play for this next segment of the show.
You're right, I do.
Very good. Very good.
He asks you what you think, and it normally goes well. But as an American, he'd say, swell. So here's what you think. In content, it doesn't lack. It's Kirby, but with Sloan and his pedantic feedback.
Very good.
Is that a new one?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of this is my feeding back, just giving my usual stuff. But okay, Robert Haynes.
I mean, in itself, that was pedantic. The fact that you're not being pedantic and being pedantic about not being pedantic must be the most pedantic thing you've ever done. Let's have it again.
I used Facebook's ability to turn flat photos into 3D, and it, as Robert Haynes pointed out, I didn't notice it when I posted the picture. That 3D photo looks okay if you move it around until you look at the arms separating from the sleeves.
Yeah, it looks weird.
And Reese says, it's only a few hours after regenerating, he'll be fine. And Debbie Melrose says, now I can't unsee and am frankly terrified. And then I make a comment that I had no control over Facebook creating it. And Robert Haynes says, nothing wrong with that. It's just funny to see how the algorithm goes about things. Terry Miles quotes, he gives a quote, "You're Scottish fry something." And since he left off the punctuation, my brain tried to read that as, even though I know what she says, without punctuation, I read that as your Scottish fry. Something. So, anyway. We'll skip over. It's funny. It's funny to me.
Okay.
We'll skip over Ian Kirk. Terry Miles says, I feel sorry for Jeff. The doctor grabbing his laptop, then saying, "Blimey, get a girlfriend, Jeff."
Yeah, while he was looking on the laptop, he managed to look up a job for a member of the cast for Umbrella Academy, so it was quite a good thing for him. So.
Ian Kirk says, then he said Jeff could get any job after he sorted out the experts. Neil James says, the 11th Hour, new doctor, new companions, new showrunner. This is how you do it. There's excitement with the opening TARDIS descent over London, and then we go into the gorgeous food sequence with young Amy, and the reveal of the crack. Stop it. There's comedy, horror, fairy tale, mystery, and my personal favorite thing across the whole franchise, Doctor Who in an English village. Heaven. Great guest cast. The direction feels fresh, and Amy and Rory are brilliant here. Spoiler alert, they become bloody intolerable later down the line.
I would say they do. I think Rory sometimes does.
And lastly, there's Matt Smith. It's a terrific debut. The man is a ball of childish energy. He has chemistry with pretty much anyone you plunk in front of him. He's always interesting to watch. He's got one of those Rick Mail, okay. Type faces that can flick quickly between handsome to clownish to grotesque in the blink of an eye. I actually think he looks the best he ever does in this story, wearing tennis old raggedy cast-offs. This is glorious stuff, and it's sad it'll never to date get this good again. 5 stars out of 5. Oh, and I want to point out that watching this yesterday, seeing Matt Smith so young, it's just amazing. I responded to that comment with he says this glorious stuff is said it'll never to date get this good again. I say very slight disagreement. The Day of the Doctor was better.
Yeah, maybe so.
And Curse of the Black Spot.
Look, I'm going to say this now before this, right? I am expecting there are Squid Duffers because it's Doctor Who, but I'm expecting us not to find as many bad episodes as we remember, off the top of our heads. Because I was just looking through the episode list, and there's a few in there that I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing. The Curse of the Black Spot is not one of them, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it because Karen Gillan's in it. There we are. I've said it now.
Amy fell to the ground.
Yeah, Amy fell. You'll have to get her in to say that again.
Yeah.
No, she won't do that. She's 16. She's not going to do that.
I want to hear a 16-year-old Isabella.
She's not going to. She's done it in the past, and she's not going to do it again. I've got to get to record a new disclaimer, actually.
And Neil James says, "Yeah, that episode, the Vincent Van Gogh episode, and a Capaldi one. I think it's Heaven Sent, are the only potential future 5-star episodes that I had for me."
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
And then I go off really on the interior of the house, so you can forget about that. But Ian, I'm discussing the stairs. So Ian says, "I'm glad you took steps to clear this out." And then my discussion about Pauline Collins and Arthur Cox. So.
Oh joy. That was good, wasn't it? Right, so there's stuff come.
Wait.
Nearly.
On
got
what you
there.
were talking about.
What?
I'm looking through this particular series, and it's back and forth.
That's
to me. It's there.
There's compared to the Chibnall era, that's actually not too bad. We'll find out anyway, because that's what I'm looking forward to.
There's horrible. There's fantastic.
I'm expecting to find some that I remember I didn't particularly like. I'm expecting to half like them now, because we're on the journey, and I know there's some. But I think I'm looking at these now in a slightly different viewpoint than I've done before.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yep.
I'm looking at them. Because I haven't watched them that many times, there's an air of nostalgia about them because they're quite old.
Interesting.
And
I agree with you because it's going to be interesting. It's been years since I've seen.
Yeah, and this one I haven't enjoyed the 11th Hour as much as I've watched it this time. Maybe because I watched it back to back with End of Time Part 2. It's like almost like a continuation because we only watched that last week, and it's a little taste of freshness for me, and it's just lovely to see all these sort of characters that we watched for about 3 or 4 years back together again and doing their stuff. And I know there will be. I mean, I've got a funny feeling I'm going to quite enjoy Curse of the Black Spot. I know it's not very well written, etc., but I've got a funny feeling it's got blooming Hugh Bonneville in it. There's elements about it that I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, I might like it better, although the disappearing character just still is going to bug me.
Okay, that doesn't bother. Well, it's Doctor Who. It happens. It is bad writing.
We're all going to look at these a little differently because we know what's coming.
To a certain degree, yeah. But some of them, I might forget what's coming, Mary, because I haven't seen them for so long, and they're not like the classic stories where we watched over and over and over again and then did the journey. Yeah. These ones I've probably only watched once or twice.
Right.
And not for a long time, obviously. How long? 10 years since they were maybe. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we were reviewing these, though, 2 years after they were broadcast, too.
Right. So, we move to the next segment of the feedback part of the show. I'm going to do it in the order in which they've arrived. Terry Miles, Mary, you have some Terry Miles blurb to dictate.
It's pretty extensive. Okay, he says, before seeing the episode back in 2010, we had never heard of Matt Smith, so we weren't expecting much as we thought he was new to acting. We can only say that Matt Smith is insane. He's amazing, and we're sure he scared the wits out of that poor little Amelia Pond. Hang on, he did, didn't he? Those poor psychiatrists she bit. Yeah. So in the TARDIS, if you go straight through the door, directly opposite is the pool. Methinks the TARDIS has been reconfiguring herself again.
Yes.
I thought it was the other side of the library. Well, the library is the pool now. The TARDIS has defiantly reconfigured the doors. It seems they now open outwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tut, that's a bit racist. In quotes, you're Scottish. Fry something.
Yes.
And there we have it. Fish fingers and custard.
Yeah, but Stephen Moffat's Scottish, isn't he? So I suppose it's acceptable.
I don't know. Is Stephen Moffat Scottish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there we have it. Fish fingers and custard. All those children that wanted the same, and mummies and daddies who had to then throw away said food when the kids hated it. The doctor will only be a little while. That poor child. Being Scottish, she could abide being sat outside all night waiting for the Raggedy Men to return. The house seems wrong. Not only is there a room that Amy has not seen, but on the outside the house has 2 floors. Yet the doctor is only worried about the extra room, not the fact that there is a 3rd floor in a 2-floor house. In front of him, when Amy had cuffed him to the radiator, there was a set of stairs going up and another going down. This is the first time we see Amy's crack.
Hey.
Methinks we may see crack again.
Well, let's hope so.
That is not a police uniform. That's a super cramp uniform, and those legs seem to go on forever. There are no ducks on many duck ponds. In Britain, we just call them ponds.
Hashtag Amy's leg. Sorry, Lillian.
You wait to see all the other doctors appear when he was facing off the Atraxi. In conclusion, Matt Smith looks like he's enjoying the role of the doctor, and we like what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, Terry listened to the doctor who redacted series. Last Thursday, Terry listened to the Doctor Who redacted series on BBC Sounds that is available worldwide. 10 short podcast-like episodes. It is a very good story if you get the chance to listen to it. Stay safe and well, everybody. Linda and Terry Miles.
Thank you,
And
Linda.
may I point out to Linda and Terry Miles that I have posted a floor plan which shows that there are bedrooms up there, and on the floor plan it does say denotes restricted head height for those upper story bedrooms.
The funny thing is, Moffat's got a thing about missing sort of floor layers and houses, isn't it? If you the James Corden episode has that in it as well, doesn't it? So I just bear that in mind. He likes this idea of things in the corner of your eye and. Pardon?
One thing that I find interesting is for most up to this point, almost every case where we saw the interior of a house and exterior of a house, they were it might have been a location house, but they were almost always different places, and this was actually filmed inside that same house.
Thank you, Kirby.
My job.
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Well, hello, Ian.
G'day, Captain.
The 11th Hour by Stephen Moffat. We have not had the Doctor looking down into his sideways TARDIS before. That was good. In the later story, we find out the TARDIS is sentient, so it must have been having a really bad day to crash like that.
That was Neil Gaiman, though,
The
wasn't
little girl was very good. The food sampling scene was regrettable, though. In England, at a celebration, your friends can hire a woman in fancy dress to read a greeting and give you a kiss.
Yeah.
This is a kissogram.
Yes.
They are not strippers.
No, they're not.
Amy cannot be a kissogram because she lives in a village and does not have a car. Unless this is a fantasy science fiction TV program. From a quick web search, it seems the only American kissogram girl was a racehorse of that name. Amy does look a bit like one of the soothsayers from the fires of Pompeii.
Yes.
TARDIS Wiki lists 5 homages in this to previous Moffat stories. This is an introductory story, so the plot is simple. The Doctor prevents the Earth being destroyed by helping aliens to find an escaped prisoner. We are introduced to 2 story arcs, the crack in the universe and the mysterious silence.
Amy, wonderful Amy, how can you blame me for loving you?
I have just binge watched Sex Education, the sex drama comedy TV show on Netflix, which has Ncuti Gatwa as one of the cast. It is very enjoyable, but also very explicit. Most of it was filmed in Penarth, if you know where that is.
Well, there you go.
And there is a character called Amy. It has been announced that there will be another season made this year. It has an ensemble cast with 8 episodes per year.
What,
so
with
I expect
Ncuti in it?
Ncuti could do both this and Doctor
Well, they're
Who.
both filmed in the same place. I suppose they could.
4 packets of crumpets. Bye for now.
Well, thank you for that. Oh, isn't there a Russell T Davies series anyway? Sex Education. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
No idea.
No idea.
All right. Okay. Go on then, Kirby.
I just posted a picture to respond to Ian. The Doctor has dealt with a sideways TARDIS. It's a picture of
Peter Davison's first
Peter
story.
Davison. Yeah.
Yeah. When he arrived.
Oh, thank you. Ben, were you
From
starting to
Pastor
say
Malva.
something just before Ian Kirk's feedback came on?
Possibly.
What were you going to say?
No idea.
I was just thinking, me and Mary referred to Karen Gillan's eyes, which are quite striking. It's quite interesting that the character she plays, in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers films, her eyes are covered up. It's a shame,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but and as nice as you say they are, they haven't had a song written about them like Betty Davis eyes has.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll end up playing Betty Davis one day in a biopic or something. Right then, Robert.
Betty Davis eyes.
Robert.
Yeah, sir.
I sent you Brandon Moore's blurb. Thought you might enjoy reading that.
Okay. Who the Man? 11th Hour by...
Will Smith.
Now, I don't know whether I should reply this Step Hen at Moffat. It says, this is good. This is very, very, very good. Matt Smith gives a stellar performance in what is the best first story of the new series Doctor. The 11th Doctor here is slightly different from the one we got for the rest of the series. He's still cooking, and a bit more 10-like in a lot of places. This speaks volumes to Smith's acting ability, especially considering that this was the 5th story he recorded.
Wow.
I didn't know that. As manages to build into his portrayal in later episodes. Also, 11 looks better in 10's raggedy costume than
I guess he does.
10 ever did. I have to say that's probably because he's got a bit more meat on him. Tennant looks like he's very undernourished. It says the fish custard scene shows the Doctor in a much more childlike mode, more akin to Troughton and Baker than the new series has seen so far. That's true. On first watch, I actually found that scene to be rather cringy, but I think that was because I was 12 years old, nearly turning 13, and didn't want the Doctor to be he's got VB, to be too childish.
Well, it is Mr. M.
Say, that's making me feel very old. But I love the scene now, though, and for, of course, the rooftop scene where Smith steps through the face of predecessor, bow tie in place, with I Am the Doctor in full flow, is iconic for good reason. Yeah, that's what it's called. I Am the Doctor is the theme. Caitlin Blackwood is great as Amelia, a really talented young actress, and one who bounces off of Smith with ease.
Yeah,
totally
do work
agree with
well
that.
together.
The image of her sat waiting for the raggedy man to come up is really amazing, and it is a shame that Amy had to grow up. Although there are all kinds of practicalities as to why a child companion could never work full time.
Yeah.
Amelia would have been great, however.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just thinking back to that scene where she's sitting waiting. I mean, I love the music. That
You know the
plays
bit
throughout,
where
but
she
it's-
looks up, Robert? You know, just there's a bit where she looks up. That reminded me of Sarah Jane when, at the end of Face of Hand of Evil, Hand of Fear, sorry,
Hand of Fear.
where she looks back and they
Hand of
freeze the
Evil?
frame. Yeah, I got Hand of
Yeah.
Evil, yeah, face of. No, hang on, Hand of Fear, wasn't it? Shut up.
It's 'cause
Carry
they-
on.
Face of Evil was the next one, wasn't it? No, that was the one after
something like
the
that. Yes.
Deadly Assassin. It says Karen Gillan is hot. I'm going to emphasise this a lot over the next few months.
Yes.
Karen Gillan is hot.
That's Carne. It says
As I-
Carne Gillan. She's so hot. He
Carne.
spelled her name wrong.
As I've said, I was nearly 13 years old when first watching these episodes, and well, I'm sure you can fill in the rest. She is very, very hot, especially in that police uniform. Yep, a lot of us would agree with that. Anyway, back to the plot. Okay, there isn't very much of one, but the story holds together well. The cast is littered with some great actors cast in very small roles, some of whom seem almost wasted. But it just shows that at this point, Doctor Who was at the peak of its powers.
No, it was.
Prisoner Zero, or Pose as it's written here, or type. Prisoner Zero.
Poires. Almost looks like fours, as in powers. Fours.
Yeah, fours.
Maybe that's what he meant to write. Right, sorry.
I keep on spelling I keep on typing the wrong as to spell it. Tay. How many times I've seen that? It says Prisoner Zero and the Atraxi are both great designs for monsters, but neither have aged very well in terms of the effects. Yeah, that's true, as we've mentioned. Oh, and there's Rory as well. Arthur Darvill is great, though he doesn't do too much in this first episode. The new TARDIS is good, but perhaps there is a bit too much going on in some areas. A little restraint may have helped, and I love the new Sonic, though not all that convinced by it popping out the console. Didn't later on they did that again or something? Yeah, the hints of story arcs to come work very well in this episode, and we leave the episode with a feeling of exciting as the adventures to come and anticipation of the answers to the questions that have been raised. 9 out of 10. Next time, I'm the bloody queen.
Are you?
No, I am.
Spartacus.
Right. Mary?
What?
I think you should avert your eyes just in case, because it's Andy Nunny.
Well, good afternoon, 20 megabytes. Andy Nunny here, and it's just going to be 10 to 6, ringing a bath. And this morning I did the ironing and watched the 11th Hour and thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a very, very strong debut performance from Matt Smith. A lot of quirkiness he's settled himself in. I'm not quite sure what the breathing out the remnants of the presumably the Generation Age he was. Also, why is the TARDIS always wreck itself now when you regenerate? It never used to. And, this has really come in. Well, I don't recall it happening when Christopher Eccleston regenerated, but it seems to be when the Doctor's by themselves that this happens. I mean, certainly when Capaldi turned into Whittaker, it happened, and obviously this happened, but it didn't happen when Matt Smith turned into Peter Capaldi because there was somebody there with him. So interesting. That's why that would happen. However, some very good quirky bits from Matt Smith. I mean, some of the phrases that he came up with. I love the "you're Scottish fry" something. I mean, if that's a stereotyping, I don't know what it is. But also, I'm a madman with a box, and the bit at the end, just run. That was, this is something that it set the scene. But also, it set the scene with things like the Shadow Proclamation, Silence Will Fall. We didn't know at the time, but these are clues and hints of what's going to happen and how complex this Doctor's run will become, and how everything linked together, didn't it, in the end? I think there were one or two loose ends left over, but, you go back and you watch it again, that's what that meant, that's what that was about. And we find out what Silence Will Fall in about 3 years' time. A good story, a bit complicated story, but it was quite clever with this alien who's multiform and turns to different people and combinations of different people as well, and really was some sort of snake thing it would appear, and that was Prisoner Zero. I thought it very clever. They had the dog with the man, and then the mother with two children, and when you realise that the one was talking, and you can see that Amy and Rory both realise that, and they're not giving away, they're backing away, and then suddenly the mother figure suddenly realised what's happening. Really good, this good clever scene in the village of the Doctor thinking, I've seen something, what is I saw? And you can see him whizzing around, and suddenly it wasn't the most unexpected one, it's Rory's badge, because we didn't know who Rory would be at the time. And so suddenly, he became very much a central character, or later on became a central character. Boyfriend, friend, we know that went. And I think it's when the Doctor summons back the aliens to say, right, come on, I didn't say you could go, come back and sort this thing out, because we're just in the protection. So very well done. Amelia Pond, Amy Pond, two aspects of the same person. I don't think we've ever seen that before. A younger and then an older version. And that was very well done. Of course, he thinks it's 5 minutes and it's actually 12 years, and he thinks it's only a few hours and it turns to be 2 years. And it's not surprised he got back to the cricket bat. I mean, I think if I do that to my work, I think I should do a lot more whack with the cricket bat. But so there you go. See, cricket, Kirby, how important cricket is. I hope you appreciate this. But all in all, it was a very, very strong debut for Matt Smith.
I want a cricket bat. Very
well written, and it flowed really quickly. I was surprised, it actually went on for over an hour, and then I also DVD and I saw a deleted scene the end of it, and it didn't seem to have gone that long. I thought it was about 45 minutes, and I said, bloody hell, I've been watching for an hour. I nearly finished the ironing, finished off watching the cricket later, actually, but that's by the by. But yeah, it was good, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to really enjoy rewatching Matt Smith, I think. Anyway, till next time, be seeing you.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. We have this from Billy.
How you doing? Okay. This was an absolutely beautiful story.
I think
it was. It kind of did away with the old and then went on with the new. Okay. At this point in time, I was kind of over the manic or hype or the campness of David Tennant.
Well, he didn't like New Who.
Subjectively speaking, okay? And that's not to take away from what David Tennant gave to the show, because obviously that was a massive positive impact. But I think by now the show needed something different, and the 11th Hour brought this difference. It brought this freshness. It was so new. It really was, and I love the innocence and the childlike manner of the 11th Doctor in Matt Smith. And to my mind, he was one of the best Doctors.
Wow.
He was. I loved it. And what a beautiful scene at the end.
Oh.
When Amy and the Doctor were in the TARDIS, and the Doctor was trying to convince Amy to come with him.
Mm.
And he says, I'm more than just a madman with a box, or something like that.
Yes,
okay.
he did.
And it went on to a feeling of anticipation wonderment and adventure, and they're both laughing at the console and looking beyond what might be. What an absolutely beautiful, scene in Doctor Who canon.
Yes.
I just loved this episode, I did. And to my mind, it's probably on par with Seeds of Doom, Genesis of the Daleks, and Planet of the Spiders and whatever else, or Ark in Space, Brain of Morbius, many of the greats of Doctor Who. This is, to my mind, is where this episode lies.
Wow.
What a wonderful episode. I just love it. I really do. And, by the way, Ben, thanks for your happy birthday song.
Oh.
Okay. That was absolutely lovely. Absolutely ace. Thank you. And take care of everybody. See you next time.
Oh, thanks, Billy.
I was just looking up the this movie that Caitlin Blackwood and Fraser and Sylvester they're in. It's called Lost at Christmas, and Caitlin's character is named Clara.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, by the way, it's available for viewing on Amazon Prime here. I don't know if it's on yours.
There's a thing on Amazon Prime about a Doctor Who convention, the amateur thing that's available for viewing as well. I can't remember what it's called.
What's it called?
And it's like Looking for 10 or something like that.
Remember.
I think it's called Looking for 10 or something, or Searching for 10. It's very amateur, but it is on there. This leads us to Ben Shoveler, who is now the expert on negotiating himself through the text of Alan T. Butcher.
Well, you say that. I mean, I'll give it a go. I've got both glasses on. I've got to put 2 pairs of glasses on so I can read my phone properly. Because one pair's too strong, the other pair is up.
Yeah, same here.
Anyway, Amy's crack uncovered, or the Doctor's mother-in-law. Dear 20 megabyters, the 11th Hour is, of course, a closely studied critique of the excessive pursuit of punishment over proportional justice and the protection of the innocent. The Atraxi are obviously overzealous in their pursuit of Prisoner Zero and, most alarmingly, happy to risk others in their endeavours. The Doctor pulls himself together to signal that the innocents of the earth shall be protected, which puts over that the greatest protection for innocents comes from absolute clarity of the safeguarding rather than to allow the active conflict to develop. Adam, stand down. Kirby, yeah, I can squeeze you in this week. It should be noted that whilst... Oh, hold on, I moved my thingy. That they don't like it that the TARDIS takes such punishment these days when the Doctor regenerates. In fact, this moment was a comprehensive one of a dramatic change in a...
Oh, sorry,
Science Fiction and Fantasy TV program.
Oh, Ben, I'm so glad you did that, because I was busy doing some behind-the-scenes stuff while you were doing that, and you fitted in the Some Might Say bit. Hang on, you did the wrong... There should be Some Might Say. You did the wrong Some Might Say. What are you playing at?
No, I did a different Some Might Say.
Yeah, I've got that one as well. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, it's a TV show, and it constitutes a bold way to recreate the architecture of the programme, as well as the cast, including a great new TARDIS and a new... You keep them coming, Alan.
Yeah.
I'm knocking them out of the park in the 5 minutes I get to make that. We also learned that Victor Meldrew's wife Margaret relocated after his death to Leedworth after remarrying a chap called Mr. Angelo. All in all, the 11th Hour is a resonant and well-pitched reset to Doctor Who. Exact what the show need. I think it's meant to be exactly. Not that we critique our critiques as they come in. Exactly what was needed. I mean, if then someone critiques me reading the critique of the critique, we're getting into some deep stuff there, aren't we? Exactly what was needed to progress the show after a very successful period. By far the best introductory story for any Doctor. It is perfectly balanced in presenting a simple story, fully told, whilst both introducing important new characters, and instead of a debilitated post-regenerative Doctor, we get a hybrid with his former self developing via the hyperactivity, trying out of things. Hyperactive into his new self. The whole cast is flawless, and the chemistry between the prospective TARDIS crew is palpable and explosively exhilarating. Beyond all this, by far the most credible and cohesive season's story arc yet seen is set up, which will genuinely link this season, alludes to the next season, and has echoes to the very end of this Doctor. Top this off with a dialogue not revealed since the Baker-Adam combine in the late 70s. Yes, it was the late 70s, and when was Adam talking to Tom or Colin Baker?
Me?
Don't worry about it, mate. Yes, it was the late 70s, and the traditional way the Doctor steals his clothes from a hospital once again, then a truly golden age has arrived, and nobody needed to be attacked by dinosaurs or have their civilization cease to exist. Oh, I fell over in the last paragraph. This story is perhaps about half an hour too short, as who would not like to see more of Amy in uniform? Well, maybe those who would prefer to see Amy out of that said uniform. And the effortless ease and vigour with which Matt Smith is feeling his way into the character. He was very obviously born to play.
You can get hold of some shuttlecocks, that'd be good, because I haven't been able to buy any new ones yet. So. Anyway.
Next up, Doctor Who and the Celestial Citation, or we're having a whale of a time. Those are my thoughts. Yeah. The Council, Alan, T. Butcher, Ricky.
See how I managed to do that phone call, and it didn't.
I mean, we hardly noticed you weren't paying any attention.
Yes.
Stop being naughty, or I'll set the dog onto you. Oh, he's not in here. You're lucky. Yeah.
Can I just add something?
No.
Yes.
It's the first time you've just.
No, I was going to say, you know how it's like throughout the episode, it was like Moffat trying to destroy all the remnants of the previous showrunner.
That's why I hate it so much.
Like slowly changing the TARDIS, changing the inside of the TARDIS, getting rid of that Sonic, getting new clothes, etc.
Oh, it's just like he's trying to say, get new clothes,
I'm putting my own stamp on things.
That's fair enough. I've got a problem with that. But I think, what's his name? He didn't do it so drastically as a certain chibi bloke, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Master, yes? If you can remember the name of that movie that you were referring to,
I think it's called either Looking for 10 or Finding. I've mentioned it on a previous episode, but I can't remember what it's called now. Something to do with 10.
I have found reference to a film which is on YouTube that's almost an hour long called The Quest for the Seven Doctors.
Yeah, it's not that. No, it's basically a woman Doctor Who fan attending a convention and looking for somebody who's cosplaying 10th Doctor or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, that.
Anyway, right.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's also
or
was on Amazon Prime. I don't know. Right then, Lily Robbins says, I adore all of this series.
Series.
Then Amy's legs are better than mine, I agree. Well, not bad, Lillian. I mean,
what?
I'm not going to object to assessing Lillian's legs, otherwise I wouldn't have created the appropriate hashtag. So,
hashtag, didn't you?
It's time for a certain bit of the show that Ben likes to do.
You say I like to do it. What, do you think this kind of like feeds me ego or something?
A loose word, loose usage of the word like.
I mean, I don't have to do it, but if anyone talks during this, I get really annoyed, so shut up.
And now, live from the Indie Rock Disco Radio Studio 1, the game show nobody's talking about. This is How Aged Are They?
How aged are they?
Don't know.
How aged are they?
We'll see.
How aged are they? That's what the game's about.
Oh, yeah.
How aged are they?
Oh, no.
How aged are they?
What?
How aged are they? Get ready to find out.
And here's your host, Ben Sutherland.
Hello and welcome to How Aged Are They? The Doctor Who actor quiz that's recently had a birthday guessing game, especially now for children. Still, it's the main reason for listening to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Which you can join.
So kids, Big Ted says the rules are very simple. There are 3 rounds. In every round I give you one actor from Doctor Who history. They've recently had a birthday, or might have one soon. The contestants, and we'll meet them shortly kids, don't worry. They have to try and guess the actor's age and to score as few points as possible. If they guess the actor's age correctly, they get an exact answer and they score 0, that's none, that's nil point. If they're 1 away, they get 1 point, 2 points for 2 away, and so on. At the end of the rounds, we'll add up the scores and we'll find out who the winner is. Now, to make sure everyone plays fair, because sometimes people don't play fair, do they, Kirby? The contestants take it in turns to start each round, so no one deliberately guesses just 1 year away from the others and tries to spoil the fun. Also, no contestant is allowed to give the same answer thrice. Now, children, that means 3 times. If you look through the square window, you'll see 3 things on it. That's thrice. If anyone mutters, I don't know, or anything similar, 100,000 points are added to their total score. These are all called the Kirby rules, but don't worry about that, kids. The weekly scores are added up at some point. Someone might be called a winner. But before we play How Aged Are They, we'd better meet this week's contestants. Okay, children, here we go. Now, there have been several complaints about the length of the contestants' introductions.
Yeah.
Those have mainly come from the contestants. So, let's meet them very quickly. Firstly, Adam, 66. He works in a shop. Next up, Kirby. He's American. Robert isn't, and Mary is. Those are our contestants. The scores look like this.
0.
Oh, enough faff. Let's play How Aged Are They? So the first round, children, I've got to give you an actor, and they've been in the programme Doctor Who. You've got to guess how old they are, and you get points, as we've just talked about for the last 15 minutes. First actor today, his name is Arthur, and his second name is Darville. His name is Arthur Darville. We know him better as Rory Williams. He was born on the 17th of June, but how aged are they? What's his age? Adam.
36.
How aged are... You said that's 36?
36.
Mary.
I'm going to say 38.
Robert.
41.
And Kirby.
42.
Lovely. Round number 2. Now this is
Ben.
Hello.
Could you move the this weird box truck that you are waving candy out of down the road? You sound like your accent or your voice is just so creepy.
I'm being a children's TV presenter, mate.
I know. It sounds like you're holding candy out of your pickup truck to lure children.
Pick up people.
Okay. Point taken. Point taken. Let's. Okay, we're going live again with round 2 in 3, 2, 1. All right, then, round 2. We've got this bloke who used to be a doctor called Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker. He played the Doctor Who. Born, same day as Arthur Darvill on the 17th of June. That's the 17th of June. But how aged is this fella called Jodie Whittaker? We'll start with Mary. How old's Jodie?
35.
35. Her because of the music.
Oh, I'll turn it down a little. Sorry, my love. Can you say it again, darling?
35.
35. Lovely stuff. Robert, mate, go on. How old's this bloke?
37.
37, you reckon? Curbs, mate, Curbs. Jodes, how old's Jodes?
39.
39, that's a cracking number. And Adam, what are you saying, mate?
40.
40, right, lovely stuff. Is that better, Kirby? Am I coming across a little bit?
Lovely.
You can go back to the other one. I was just telling you, I was trying to convey to you that it was very, very good.
The point was taken, and we shall continue in this style.
It seemed like you were straining for it.
So, children, here we are with round number 3. Now, this is a lady, and this lady is called Lucy Benjamin. Now, she played Nissa as a child in Mordrin Undead, and she was actually uncredited in that. But she also is better known as Lisa Fowler from the TV programme EastEnders. So, Lucy Benjamin, born on the 25th of June, but how aged are they? Robert?
I say 51.
Kirby?
So when she was in Modern Undead, when was Modern Undead? That was so.
Jesus Christ! Ben is asking the questions.
53.
Lovely stuff, Curbs. Adam.
What are the answers we've had so far?
51 and 53.
I was going to go 52 anyway, so I'm going to go with 52.
And Mary, what? Sorry,
60.
Mary.
I'm picking 60.
Go to 60.
60? All right.
Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. And boys and girls, we've finished the first round, which means, well, we're going to take a short break where people are going to try and sell you.
I do hope it is short.
And then we'll come back and let you know who this week's winner will be. Oh, it will be so much fun. See you in a minute. Bye, everybody. Bye.
And we went back to that creepy children's presenter again. Oh dear. What is happening to this show? Ian Kirk says Lost at Christmas with Caitlin Blackwood is available on the Amazon UK for £3.50 to rent. There you go.
Well, I couldn't hear because of the background noise. What did you say?
There wasn't any background noise.
It was me talking.
Yeah.
There wasn't any background noise.
Someone was talking over you.
I was talking over you, mate.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'll say it again. Ian Kirk says Lost at Christmas with Caitlin Blackwood is available on Amazon UK for £3.50 to rent. So, for Ben's benefit more than anybody else's, yes, Doctor Who news. So we have Neil Patrick Harris joins Doctor Who. The BBC has confirmed that American actor Neil Patrick Harris is to join the cast of Doctor Who. The actor is currently filming scenes that will be shown as part of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary in the year 2023. Russell T Davies, showrunner, said, "It's my huge honour to open up our studio to the doors to the mighty Neil Patrick Harris. But who, why, and what is he playing? You'll just have to wait."
Yeah.
But I promise you, the stuff we're shooting now is off the scale. Doctor beware. And it says a little bit of a biography about Mr. Patrick Harris. And I'll just try the music down a little bit so as I can hear myself. Also, there's been some sort of behind the scenes footage, very naughty, whoever shot those and put them on TikTok, of David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Now, the Doctor's costume is not the Doctor's costume. It is similar, but he's wearing like a tartan trousers and a tartan thing, a straight tie with cut off at the bottom. Now, I'm wondering if it is in fact not the Doctor, but the sort of alternative universe Doctor, the Dr. Donna, because it is Doctor and Donna, isn't it? It could be the Dr. Donna Doctor, I don't know. But I'm wondering if it is actually the 10th Doctor at all.
Well, are you suggesting that somehow Donna, well, maybe he's run into that universe's Donna?
Possibly so. Certainly, I think it's possible, because the other one would die, wouldn't she?
Rose would be well upset if he knew
I
she
think.
was...
Well, yeah, maybe they split up. Doctor Who Chronicles 1967. Doctor Who Chronicles 1967 is the 5th issue of a lavish series of bookazines from the makers of Doctor Who magazine.
Very good, well worth getting
obviously
that one.
Patrick Troughton. Doctor Who magazine 579, available at whon.co.uk, features Catherine Tate, David Tennant on the cover. It says "Together again, but how?" We won't find out for a while. That's Doctor Who news. Right then, we return to Ben Shoveler.
Hello and welcome back to How Aged Are They? The Doctor Who actor guessing game aged-based quiz. In the first round, I asked all these lovely people how old they thought people were. They gave me an answer, and in the time Adam's just been talking, I've done some very quick maths and probably worked out very badly to find out who's going to score how many points. Let's have a look then to see who scored what. In round one, the man's name was Arthur Darvill. We know him as Rory Williams. He was born on the 17th of June, but how aged are they? Well, Adam said 36. Mary and Kirby both said different numbers, and Robert said something else entirely different. Arthur was actually born in 1982, which makes him 40 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So, Adam's 4 points.
Sorry, I'm choking.
Because he's rubbish. Mary and Kirby, Mary said 38 and Kirby said 42, so they get 2 points each. Robert, he said 41, so he only gets 1 point in this round.
I forgot, I thought I said 40.
In round two, the person's name was Jodie Whittaker. He was a fellow who played the Doctor Who, apparently. She was also born... Oh, bugger. He was also born on the 17th... Cut, take two. Should go again. He was also born on the 17th of June, 1982, the same day as Arthur Darvill.
Wow. Twins.
That's amazing. So, Jodie Whittaker was also 40, which means Robert, Mary, Kirby, Adam, this is what happened. Mary said 35 years old, so she gets 5 points. Robert said 37 years old, so he gets 3 points. Kirby, he said 39 years old, so gets 1 point. But Adam, what did you say?
I said
Adam?
40, didn't I?
You said 40, which means it's an exact answer.
That's why I celebrated early when it said when I did Arthur Darvill.
Which means you get no points, Adam. That's very, very good, Adam. In round three, we talked about Lucy Benjamin, who played Lisa Fowler in EastEnders, but also as Nyssa as a child in Maldron Undead, but uncredited. She was born on the 25th of June in the year 1970, which made her 52 years old. Now, Kirby, Robert, Mary, and Adam, this is what happened. Mary, you said she was 60, so you get 8 points. And Robert and Kirby, you get 1 point each because you said that she was either 51 or 53. But Adam, you said she was 52.
Get in! I knew she was 12 when she did Mordrin Undead.
We've never had that before.
Someone's been cheating.
Well, I'm sorry, but
history of
if
this
you
game,
watched,
then-
I'm the only one that can be guaranteed not to be cheating, Robert, because if you watch the video feed, you can see quite clearly I'm listening. So,
Anyway.
Could have colluded before with the answers.
what?
He's
Not being funny, right? Can I just explain?
Or he's got a little earpiece in his
Kirby.
ear and someone's feeding him
Kirby.
the answers.
You were going, oh, what year was Mordrin undead? Well, it was 1982. And she was 12 years old when she shot that scene, so mathematically, she must be somewhere around 52. Mustn't she?
Well,
Think.
not somewhere around 52, Adam, because you got out.
Yes.
Exactly.
And Jodie Whittaker has recently had a baby at the age of 40, so listen to things that come up in the news. So I'm going to go to you two. Did I win?
Can we get back to my bit, please?
Yes, of course, yes. Sorry, carry on.
Right then, so let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place, with 15 points. Oh, it's Mary.
I'm just losing.
That's just rude.
I've already typed the winner in.
In third place with 5 points, it's Robert. Little clap for Robert. And in joint first place with but 4 points each is Kirby and Adam.
I think I deserve to win that. But there you go.
So that's it for this week's How Aged Are They?
I've got 2 spot
It's
ons.
a tie for the first time ever, unless we have a penalty shootout. Sod the penalty shootout. It goes straight to the draw. We'll see. Hold on a minute. We'll see you again next week on another edition of How Aged Are They? Thanks for listening / watching / playing along at home. Don't forget to tell your kids to wash behind their ears.
Please do not listen to this podcast if you are affected by any particular mental illness.
Oh, God.
I never even considered that I was in the running, so I simply had already typed in it was Adam when he got 2 of them. Correct.
Two very low scores. I mean, you got 2 one away twice and 2
The thing
away
is,
once.
Kirby was asking, when was Mordrin Undead? He should know when Mordrin Undead was made.
I'll tell you what, the tension here while I was working out the scores was, I mean, I've never felt
There's no
anything
tension
like
whatsoever, was there?
It
I
was.
can't believe Mary said 60 for that girl, though.
Right, so what we watched this week. I'm not going to do the sponsors because it's now 20 to 9, and we're never going to fit anything in if we add the sponsors in. They get mentioned every week, Kirby. They get mentioned every week. Although something came through from Lavazi actually via email. Here it is. All right, listeners. Win a Doctor Who scarf worth £69.99. Hurry up, competition ends in what?
No, I said I saw that.
Well, if you shut up, I'll read it out. Competition ends. This is really only for people watching the feed, because by the time the podcast goes out, I'll post it. I'll post it on the thingy. So it's basically a chance to win a Lavazi scarf. So I'm going to copy that link. We'll post it straight onto the 20 megabyte page. It's a very long link, actually, Kirby.
He posted it somewhere.
Yeah, no, you haven't. Shut up.
He did.
I know. I want. Well, he didn't post it on our thing.
Okay.
We're talking about Meninda posted it, did he? Did Meninda post it on our page?
I'm not sure. I saw it posted someplace, and I went,
Well,
I can't enter.
probably on the
I already
Lavazi
got
page,
one.
maybe. Well, I'm going to post it
here it is.
right now on the. Oh
Here
dear,
it
something
is.
there.
It's on our page.
Well, it's
I've
on our
seen
page
it
again.
posted.
Here it comes. Because you haven't got much time left to enter. So if you're watching the live feed, you're the ones who will have the possibilities of entering and winning a 4th Doctor scarf. Anyway, what we watched this week. Right, I have been quite busy watching the telly this week. I've been trying to dabble in a bit of golf because there's quite a lot of interesting golf going on at the moment, but I haven't been able to get into it because there's been so much stuff going on. We finished watching Stranger Things, which is fab.
I haven't really finished watching.
Pardon?
There's still 2 more episodes to go.
Yeah, no,
so you
all
haven't-
right. We're up to date then with Stranger
yeah.
Things. New episodes come out on the 1st, don't they? 1st of July. Oh, I love it. It's so good. And the first
It is
episode of
bloody
Umbrella Academy, we watched that the other day, or was it yesterday? Again, brilliant. It gets better and better. Love it so much. I got Paramount Plus, so watched episode 1 of Strange New World. Superb. Haven't watched episode...
Told ya.
Haven't watched episode 1 of Discovery yet because there's so much to watch. Also, the new series of Orville is on Disney Plus. I didn't realise this until I had a look. 4 episodes are on Disney Plus now, so I've watched the first 2 of those. Again,
Orville has new episodes?
Disney Plus, series 3 episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are on. Unless there's only 4 episodes in the series, I don't know. But
is Keith Harris in them as well?
No. But I've watched episode 1 and 2. Brilliance. All I can say, absolute brilliance. Films, I don't think I've watched any films this week. I've been busy and Deb's got COVID, so she's been sat in the other room moping a little bit. So I've been actually watching quite a lot of stuff. Of course, with the normal programmes is the Swamp Murders on Discovery Plus. Nice, cheerful programme, but very interesting nevertheless. Yeah, it's a Swamp Murder, I think it's called.
Is that a documentary or
on
what?
Discovery Plus. Yeah, of course it's a documentary. It's about people who were murdered and were dumped in swamps and how they solved the murders. It's very good.
The name of the programme
It's
really
not a drama. It's real. It's good. And, of course, my other favourite programme to dabble in, which is something about the museum.
I dabble.
Secrets of the Museum, I think it's called. And Blowing Up History, a new series of that is also available on Discovery Plus. But yeah, what I'm going to say about Paramount Plus, the Star Trek stuff's great, but once I've watched all the Star Trek stuff, there's really not much else on it that I could find anyway. There you go. But anyway, so that's Paramount Plus I was talking about then. So that's what I've been watching this week, and my biggest recommendation is Stranger Things, because it's just superb.
Yeah, it is good.
Ben, I'm sure you've been watching some stuff, haven't you?
Well, obviously, it's actually been a fortnight since we've recorded, isn't it? So,
Yes.
So, firstly, I haven't watched the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi yet.
Oh,
so
I watched episode 4 today. I should have mentioned that. Sorry.
No, I'm only up to 5 still.
I haven't watched any of Obi-Wan Kenobi yet.
Oh, you need
I'll tell you
to.
what happens, Kirby.
Fantastic.
It is brilliant.
It's the best. It's the best thing outside the Star Wars films, and it's better than 2 of the Star Wars films.
Totally agree.
It is. I agree with that.
So I haven't been watching that. However, I have watched the first half of this new series of The Floor is Lava.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet. I love that series.
I just find
What's that?
What is that?
What's that? It's
Netflix.
It's an obstacle course, right? You've got to get from one side of the room to the other side of the room. You're going over all these obstacles, but the floor is lava.
So if you fall off, you die.
And if you fall off, then you burn to death. It's a harsh game show, really. Not a lot of repeats.
Can't you just have your legs burned off and put your let me finish. Have your legs burned off and an arm burned off, and then be taken and put in a Darth Vader suit?
That's right. It's exactly
you
what
have
they
to
do.
use your imagination. It's great, you know. I love Floor is Lava. It's a bit over the top, but it's a really good concept, very simple and brilliant.
Yeah, very good indeed.
Well, I'll have to see if it's available someplace.
Netflix.
Also on Netflix, we've been watching a program called Making Fun.
Oh yeah.
Which is a bloke who used to design kids' toys and make kids' toys. He made loads of famous ones back in the 90s, who had enough of doing that, so went and run a farm. But now he's got this massive workshop, and he gets ideas from children as to what kind of crazy toys he could make, and he makes them with his couple of mates, and it's really, really entertaining.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, watch Making Fun. Been watching a load of cricket. T20 last week in England was fantastic, and the Test matches have been really good too. Last weekend was totally watching the amazingly brilliant Isle of Wight Festival.
Oh yeah, did you watch it on the telly or did you go?
Yeah,
because I'd be very disappointed if you went to it and you didn't tell me because I was there.
No,
like Robin Caddy did once.
Whoever. I thought Muse were absolutely fantastic.
Oh, they were, weren't they? Wow.
Oh, they were phenomenal.
Did you see my picture?
I did,
good, isn't
and
it?
I thought I've got a new favourite new band called the Seagulls, who I've been playing quite a lot of on the indierockdiscoradio.com, which is my new radio as well, radio station which you need to listen to. But they're my new favourite band. They were brilliant. They were at Glastonbury today, actually, and I've got to catch up on that. And I did see you on telly several times, Adam. But you know how they say. You know how they say the TV adds £10? Well, also, Adam, what you've got to be aware of, mate, is that those burgers you eat add about 40. So,
all I ate at the festival, Ben, was paella. Didn't eat anything else.
I mean, what I thought was a bit rude was the fact you didn't let anyone else in on the front row. But
Yeah.
What are you on about?
I saw how much of the barrier you were taking up.
To get to when we had Muse was on the last day, and to make sure Deb is little so she can see it, we have to go to the front. So and we had to get there early because people wanted to see Muse. So we were there about 11:30 that morning and stayed there right the way through. And Muse finished at about 11:15 that night. So we were there for 12 hours. But the acts in between then and then were fab. Nile Rodgers for one.
What do you do if you need to relieve yourself?
Just don't drink anything, Kirby. Simple.
You do it in a bottle, Kirby, and throw it behind you.
I've noticed that you always seem to be in the front row.
I've just
and
explained that one.
How you did that?
Just explain that one.
You don't get hit by anyone else who's doing it in a bottle and throwing it behind you if you're in the front row, do you? That's
Get there early, go to the front, and wait. That's all you do. Nobody's at the front at 11 o'clock in the morning, apart from me and Deb and a few others.
So that was Isle of Wight last weekend, and Glastonbury this weekend. It's been very, very disappointing. Terrible lineup, apart from Paul McCartney last night.
I heard he was quite good.
Well, he
Never
was.
heard of him.
It was very disappointing that
his voice has gone,
didn't
isn't it?
turn up. But yeah, apart from that, Dave Grohl did, and that was just fantastic seeing Dave Grohl because. With Taylor Hawkins.
They're touring, aren't they, next year? I do hope they do the Isle of Wight Festival again, because I didn't appreciate them as much as I do now.
The thing is, mate, they've got to find a drummer, and that's going to be
Zach Starkey. He's good with the Who.
I don't think he's anywhere near where old Taylor was.
Roger Taylor of Queen. He'd be good.
No, I don't think.
Filthy Animal Taylor of Motorhead.
I think
was he still alive?
I think I'll give it a go. I'll do.
What about Billy?
Billy, yeah. Yes, indeed. How about the drummer from AC/DC? He'd be up for it, wouldn't he?
Well, it's different music, really. I mean, he's an all right. Yeah, he's a good drummer. Of course he is.
Oh, how about the drummer from Muse? He'd be able to do it. He's a good enough drummer.
He would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, carry on.
Sorry. You'll have to get some sort of transfer system going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome to the drummer transfer news. And we've just found out that the Foo Fighters have made a bid for the drummer from Muse, which would allow the drummer from the Arctic Monkeys to move sideways and then over to the Stone Roses. And there was an incredible bit of news coming in now. Ronnie Wood has left the Stones, and he's now going to join Catatonia. This is unbelievable. So, yeah, you could get that, but not likely. Anyway, I'm done.
Right, Robert, what have you been watching?
I really, really, really enjoyed Obi-Wan. I thought it was...
No spoilers!
It's just going to say, it actually got me feeling... It's no spoilers. I'm just saying, it actually got the feeling back of watching the original Star Wars trilogy. That's how I felt watching it.
Absolutely right.
And that little girl who plays little Leia, oh my God,
it's going to make me
magical.
feel very, very old.
She's good. She's a great little actress.
She is.
I was just so impressed by the series. Who needs the movies when you got something as good as that? What else? Yeah, I've been enjoying Strange New Worlds. It was last week's episode was...
no spoilers, I only watched one episode, Robert.
No, I was going to say it had a feel of the original series to it. But it was...
Yeah.
But it was more of like a throwaway sort of episode, I felt. And when you've got small seasons like this, it was the kind of episode you'd expect in something that's like, goes for 22 plus episodes a year. But yeah, it was, other than that, it was okay. What else have we been watching? Not really much, to tell you the truth. I can't really think of anything offhand.
Okay.
But yeah, those were the two things I've been enjoying.
No, well, thank you very much, Robert. Unfortunately, Ben, when you did that sports reference segment, I found the music for it a little bit too late, but here it is anyway. Oh, bugger, I can't stop it. Help.
That's coming up on the outside now. We've got Big Gallop running down the inside now. We've got Over the Hill.
Oh, you want to... Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Oh, God.
And the racing cars are lining up on the track.
That'll do. Right then, Kirby, what have you been watching?
I wanted to... First, I wanted to point out that Menindir posted in the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who Podcast Facebook group, which you can join on Tuesday.
So what? I've posted it again by way of reminder and by way of to take notice of the fact he sent me an email about it.
Fine. Okay, I've actually watched a whole lot more than I usually do.
Wow.
I finished Stranger Things the first season, and I'm getting ready to start the second season.
What did you think?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Good.
I don't know why I missed, it wasn't interest to me before. And unfortunately I was so busy watching that for a while that it took me until last night to catch up on Strange New Worlds. But it is so good. I just love Strange New World. And I was laughing hysterically with the last one.
Star Trek, isn't it?
Yes. And I also I binge watched all of a new series on Netflix called Dead End Paranormal Park, which it's fun. It's animated. It's about a haunted amusement park and the people who work there and the demon that they work with and stuff like that. It's based on a series of graphic novels that I've had for years, so I was looking forward to it. And one of the weird things is that when I bought one of the graphic novels, I could only find them used through Amazon, and when I got them, the first one is autographed, and I just got it for a normal price.
Oh.
And I feel sorry for whoever this person is that he autographed it to. It says to Carrie. So,
I can always change your name now.
Right. I don't look like
it's for you.
I don't look like a Carrie. Sorry.
Something that sounds really wrong about having graphic novels that have been used.
Oh, sorry. Is that it? Oh, sorry.
Let's see.
Is that it?
I need to catch up with Obi-Wan. I realize I'm behind on that.
So much good stuff on it at the moment. It is
Excellent,
difficult.
Kirby. Excellent.
I'll see about possibly starting it tonight. But I also want to continue with Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
And whereabouts are you up to with Stranger Things, Kirby?
No. You've got to watch the Pet Shop Boys at Glastonbury tonight.
And I just watched it.
I've seen them with. They supported Take That when we saw them in Sunderland. Actually, the Pet Shop Boys. That was great fun.
I just watched with the sound off a trailer for The Floor Is Lava. That looks interesting.
That's because it is. It's a good show. It's a good show. Very basic.
It's just another version of what was that game show a few years back that was an obstacle course.
Oh, I know the one.
Knockout?
No. The Richard Hammond did it.
What
Wipeout.
said.
Wipeout, but it's not. It's well, this.
Wipeout.
Yeah.
You know it, Adam. The Richard Hammond one.
Yeah, Wipeout. The one that was filmed in
The
Argentina.
big balls.
That was it.
The big balls.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wipeout. There's also Ninja Warriors, a similar sort of thing, but I quite like Flora's Lava as that version or type of game.
I think everyone liked Wipeout for a time.
Yeah.
Fred likes Wipeout. In fact, she watches it all the time on Pluto TV because it's an entire channel for Wipeout on Pluto TV that they just show episodes over and over and over. And so I'll have to tell her about The Floor is Lava because it is on our Netflix.
Woo!
Cool. Something new to watch.
Yes.
Is that it?
So much time and so little to watch.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
That's true.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you, Kirby. Well, this is the moment, Ben.
So tell us what she's watched this week. Oh, yeah. And what she's listened to in a Mustang. And also what was read in the world. I'm reading. Of Mary Blitz Lang. And when it comes to Big Finish, she's the leader of the gang. So shut your mouth, pray silence hears. Mary Blitz Lang.
Wow. Okay. Well,
got some harmonizing there.
Yeah, most of the TV that I've been watching is, again, a bunch of American baseball because I have a favorite team that is right now at the top of its division. So I'm, watching them every time they're on, which is almost every day. But in terms of other, like streaming shows, I've been binge watching something called Tin Star, which is a very...
yeah, I've heard of that.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's very strange, but it's also very brutal. And it stars Tim Roth, and it's because it stars him that I'm watching it, because I'm a big Tim Roth fan. I think he's a really, really good actor. Really menacing when he needs to be. I've never known an actor who can be as menacing as he can be. So, yeah, that's been tying up a lot of this, because there's like 4 seasons of it. That I've been working my way through.
Don't they return to like Ireland for the last show or something?
I'm sorry, what?
Don't they go to Ireland for the last show or something like that?
Well, they start out in Canada, and then
but I think the last one they moved.
They're still in Liverpool, where I am, but the mother
You're
is
in Liverpool.
The mother, yeah, I moved again. The mother in the series, she's from Ireland, so they may end up in Ireland.
Yeah, I think the last series they do, yeah.
Okay. And in terms of books, well, I'm still reading. It's called Moonstone, or Dreamstone Moon. That is Eighth Doctor and Sam.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it, but it's taking me a while to get through it because I'm not reading that often at the moment. And in terms of Big Finish, I've been listening to a First Doctor, a new First Doctor one.
The Outlaws.
Called The Outlaws, yeah, and The Miniaturist. And the Outlaws features the First Doctor and Dodo, and the meddling monk. But I have a real problem with how the new voices, the First Doctor and the meddling monk, are done, because it's played for comedy, and it is a good comedy. It is a very fun, The Outlaws is a very fun story, but I really have a problem with the voices that they're doing, because it's like they're shouting all the time. They're overplaying the comedy to the point, these two are particularly, and I blame the director, not the actors playing the voice, but, which is Nick.
Then you can do what they got given.
Yeah, Nick Briggs is the director of this, and they're just overplaying the comedy so much that it loses the comedy for me. Now I'm in the middle of listening to the second story of that set called The Miniaturist, and it's way better. It's very scary. And I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, it's moving along very, very nicely. And the voices, or at least the voice of the First Doctor, he's still a little too enthusiastic for me, because the First Doctor struck me as being, he's an old man, of course,
dithery.
Sure of himself, but not pushy and shouting like this guy does. And again, I blame the direction in this, because the guy does the voice okay, but I just don't like the energy and the aggressiveness of how this First Doctor is coming across. Something I'd like to comment on before we go is we said that Arthur Darvill doesn't have much in this first story of the 11th Doctor, but because I know the run of the 11th Doctor, I see it now from the beginning, which I didn't when I first saw this. I'm seeing now that Arthur Darvill is like the Greek chorus. He is always making these wonderful observations of how he sees things playing out. And he did so, he started that in this story. When the doctor's bringing the aliens back, and he's going, really, you got rid of them, and now you're bringing them back. I mean, it's like the craziness of the doctor. And I remember that some of the best speeches in various 11th Doctor stories are made by Rory. So I'm looking forward to those. So that's my bit.
Marvellous, Mary. Marvellous.
Thank you.
That'll be out.
Right, I'm just going to check what my calendar says for next week. By the way, anybody who's watching live feed on Facebook, that's 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook group, which you can join. The battery of the camera is virtually dead, so it might just cut off suddenly. So goodbye, just in case. Right then, next week, 3rd of July, has an empty space in my diary, which implies that
all right.
I can do the show. However, the following week, I'm filming that evening, so can't do the 10th, but I can do the 3rd,
What
the 17th,
movie?
and 24th, 31st. Can't do the 7th of August, but I can do the 14th, 21st. Can't do the 28th. I can do the. Oh, anyway. We'll cross those bridges when we get to it. But
so no 10th.
No, I'm filming. I've just had a conflabs from a lady called Linda Blackwood, just seeing if Caitlin might be available for anything, but she's moved on to other projects now and is not really interested in Doctor Who at all. Sad, isn't it? Never mind. A shame, because she was lovely. Obviously not going to embark on a career with acting. Right, so next time we'll be looking at a story called The Beast Below. Continuing the new era of Matt Smith as the Doctor, which I've got a funny feeling it's going to drag on, like not quite as long as Tennant's did, because that really did go on, and I was surprised how long it went on for, but it did. I'm talking about Mary's, binge watching. I don't sort of go for binge watching, but I do find it very difficult resisting binge watching Orville. I know there's only 4 episodes on there at the moment, but I've already done 2 in 2 days. So I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be watching it after I've had my bath, because it's that good. Isn't it, Mary?
Now, are you watching the Orville from the very beginning?
I've watched it from the very. I've already watched those episodes, but I may go back and rewatch them when
the new ones.
But what I'm getting from you is that this is a new series, right?
It's a new series. It's called the Orville New Horizons. I think it's called something like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to look for it because I didn't know that they had another series.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Just look for the Orville on Disney Plus, and you should find series 3. I don't know if America's got more episodes than we do, but certainly there's 4 episodes.
I tried watching the Orville many years ago, and I just could not get into it.
It's got more serious. When it started, it was
riveted.
When it started, it was more tongue in cheek and more comedy. Now they've gradually moved it into the more dramatic side of things, but they kept a few little comedy elements in there. It's very, very serious stuff now. The first episode of the series 4, no spoilers, but it covers suicide, and it does it absolutely spot on. It's brilliant, and as a series, as a concept, the cast ensemble obviously all love each other because they're still doing it. It's just a delight series. Brilliant. It still takes a little bit of a piss out of Star Trek to a certain degree, but it does it in a way that out of love, because you know that Seth MacFarlane obviously adores Star Trek, and that's why he's created this series, and he's created a masterpiece. It's absolutely superb. It's very obviously Star Trek Next Generation, I like that feel for Star Trek. So that's why I love Orville so much, because it feels like how they maybe should have kept Star Trek in that sort of,
Yeah, I've seen people say that the Orville is better than Star Trek, but Strange New Worlds is the best Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. That Strange New Worlds is good, but the Orville for the last, especially the last 2 series or 1.5, has been better than Star Trek. It's how Star Trek. They perhaps should have kept Star Trek in that sort of. They obviously got modern filming techniques and stuff like that, modern CGI.
Well, maybe I'll try it again because I was not impressed.
Just sort of ignore the deliberate innuendo and comedy that you see a lot of, which is great, by the way, and innovative and stuff like that in series 1. They flip it by the time as they grow, as the series grows. It's just so good. It really is. Just watch it. Robert Picardo's in one of them, and he's left London Film and Comic Con, so I'm not going to get any pictures of him. So has William Shatner, which is the reason I was going to the bloody event in the first place. He's not going there. Robert England's still going. We're still going to the event. We've got tickets, but they keep on cancelling, or people keep on cancelling, and they keep on giving you vouchers for events you're not going to go to. They just give people refunds, for God's sake. So yeah, we've got David Harbour, who's going to be on the Saturday and Sunday. Great, thanks for that. Alex Kingston, Aidan Turner, all on days we're not going. But at the moment, Christopher Lloyd is still attending. But it's so frustrating when you see the guest list for Saturday and Sunday. It's heartbreaking in a way, but they're going to be some good guests there.
What can you
good
do?
Day. Pardon?
I said, what can you do?
Nothing you can do. We're just going to go along and hope that Christopher Lloyd's still there. I've booked a photo shoot with what's his name? Who played the Master? Marina Sirtis is going, or supposedly so.
Sacha Darwin.
They've actually got the two twins, the Conrad twins from Twin Dilemma, going as well, but not on the days either. Yeah. And Janet Fielding's
They're still trying to
all
make
on
money
days we're not
off
there.
Twin Dilemma, are they?
It's frustrating. Hopefully Wales Comic Con in December will have. I know Janet Fielding's going to that one, so hopefully we'll be able to meet her there, because we're going to both days of that particular event. But I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for Mickey Dolenz, because he's a legend, and of course Christopher Lloyd. Fingers crossed those two are going to be there. So looking forward to it. It's only a couple of weeks' time, so yeah, I'll be back to record.
Is that why you're skipping? No. Okay.
No, it isn't, no, because I'm filming on Sunday. I did explain that. It's that weekend, but I'm filming on the Sunday filming show. So, anyway.
Yeah, wait, I wanted to say something about the possible reason that the 10th Doctor is showing up.
Yeah.
Someone pointed this out. You may have noticed I posted that silly picture that someone's using as a thumbnail for some ghost videos, some real ghost videos on YouTube. It's actually a picture of the Watcher. Someone has commented, one of the places I posted that maybe Tennant is playing the Watcher.
What's Catherine Tate got to do with it then?
Don't know.
I don't think they're going to do that, Kirby. Right then. Oh yes, stuff coming through on the live feed before we go. Alan T. Butcher says the Orville is great, proper Star Trek, and then Strange New Worlds is more like the Orville, so therefore more like Star Trek. So there you go, Kirby. Watch the Orville. Shouldn't he watch the Orville, Mary?
And me too.
You too, Robert. I didn't realise you weren't watching it.
You too have got to watch it.
Yes, they have. You two have indeed got to watch it. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a bath and maybe watch a bit of Glastonbury, or even, Series 3, Episode 3 of Orville. So until next week, hopefully, fingers crossed. Thank you for listening, watching, taking part in the show. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye.
Scarecrow.
Good night, children. Sleep well.
Ew, go away.
Super creepy.
That's a creepy.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production sponsored by who1.co.uk, lavazi.co.uk. We are a proud member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended.